Welcome to Immigration Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: give women the choice to have more babies. Foreign Gaza evacuees have 72 hours to leave Egypt. Help us enormously. Community hopes PM's visit to China will move relationship in the right direction. Puppet Little Amal publicizes migrant plight on US-Mexico border. The Buffy Sainte-Marie bombshell has been devastating. I fear some of this may be my fault. Give women the choice to have more babies. Telegraph. The UK is facing a baby bust as the fertility rate falls to just 1.56 children per woman, well below the 2.1 required for demographic stability. This has serious economic consequences, including a decrease in the working age population and a crisis in elderly care. To avoid this, the country would need to accept high levels of immigration or increase the birth rate. Exclusive polling shows that 92% of young women want children, but barriers such as financial impact and career concerns prevent many from starting a family. Policy makers must address these barriers and value motherhood more. Foreign Gaza evacuees have 72 hours to leave Egypt. BBC. Foreign nationals, including British citizens, who have fled Gaza and are currently in Egypt have only 72 hours to leave the country before they risk overstaying and facing fines. The Rafah crossing, the border between Gaza and Egypt, was closed over the weekend, leaving many stranded in Egypt. Among those affected are Yosra, a pregnant British citizen, and her husband Ibrahim, who is not a British citizen. They were evacuated from Gaza and are now in Cairo, but they need to apply for a family visa for Ibrahim before they can travel to the UK. However, the usual processing time for a family visa is up to 6 months. The Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, and the Home Office are working to expedite visa applications for non-British family members of those who have been evacuated from Gaza, but it is unclear how long this process will take. The situation has caused significant stress for the individuals involved, including Yosra, who has experienced weight loss and deteriorating health due to the difficult living conditions in Gaza and the uncertainty in Egypt. Help us enormously. Community hopes PM's visit to China will move relationship in the right direction. ABC. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's visit to China has been welcomed by community members in both China and Australia, who hope it will improve relations between the two countries. Many are hoping that the visit will lead to the scrapping of Chinese tariffs on Australian wines. Wine exporters are hopeful that changes in policies will come soon after the visit. However, concerns remain about Australia's efforts to advocate for human rights in China, and it is uncertain whether issues such as the case of Australian citizen Gordon Ng, who has been charged with subversion in Hong Kong, will be raised during the visit. Puppet Little Amal publicizes migrant plight on US-Mexico border. The Guardian. Little Amal, a 10-year-old Syrian girl puppet, has reached the US-Mexico border after a 2-year journey around the world. The puppet is part of an international theater arts project called The Walk, which aims to raise awareness about the struggles of displaced people. Little Amal visited more than 90 cities on her trek to the UK and has now begun a 6,000-mile journey through 35 US cities. Her recent stop in El Paso and Ciudad Juarez, twin cities divided by the border, aimed to celebrate and pay tribute to the local communities. The puppet's journey is meant to evoke empathy and compassion for those fleeing war, violence, poverty, and persecution. During her visit to El Paso and Ciudad Juarez, Little Amal interacted with children and adults, danced with Mexican folkloric dancers, and attended a festival highlighting the plight of the displaced. She also visited the site of the racially motivated mass shooting at a Walmart in El Paso in 2019, paying tribute to the victims. Little Amal's journey aims to provide hope, encouragement, and solidarity to those in need, while also drawing attention to the challenges faced by border communities as they cope with the arrival of tens of thousands of migrants. The puppet has become a symbol of resilience and forgiveness, embodying the spirit of hope for those who have faced hardship and adversity. Little Amal's journey through the US-Mexico border region serves to highlight the interconnectedness of the two cities and the shared experiences of their residents. By engaging with local communities and organizations, the Puppet Project aims to foster understanding and compassion for displaced people and the challenges they face on their journeys. The Buffy Sainte-Marie bombshell has been devastating. I fear some of this may be my fault. The Toronto Star. A recent CBC report has alleged that Canadian singer and activist Buffy Sainte-Marie is not of Native American descent as she has long claimed, but rather is Italian-American. Sainte-Marie denies these accusations, but her son has confirmed them. The report has led to a great deal of anger and confusion within the Indigenous community, as it raises questions about the legitimacy of Sainte-Marie's status as a Native spokesperson. This incident is part of a larger trend of pretendians, people who falsely claim to be indigenous, being exposed in the media. This trend has led to a decline in public understanding of what it means to be native, and has caused divisions within the indigenous community. The CBC report does not appear to have considered the impact it would have on indigenous public life, nor did it attempt to tell the story in a way that would mitigate harm to native people. Instead, the report has had a negative effect on the indigenous community, causing further confusion about what qualifies someone as indigenous and allowing pretendians and the ignorant to fill the void. Going forward, it is important that the media approach stories about pretendians carefully and responsibly, ensuring that they consult with the communities affected and consider the impact their reporting will have on indigenous public life. In conclusion, the CBC report on Buffy Sainte-Marie raises important questions about the responsibility of the media when reporting on pretendian stories. It is crucial that the media approach these stories in a way that respects indigenous national identity and does not further harm the indigenous community. The focus should be on determining if fraud has occurred according to the written or unwritten laws of the community, if cultural leaders agree that fraud has occurred, if something that should have gone to an indigenous person has been taken, and if the pretendian is in a position to cause more harm than the expose itself would cause to indigenous public life. In today's news, we've covered a range of topics from the declining fertility rate in the UK to the hopes for improved relations between Australia and China. We've also highlighted the powerful journey of little Amal, a 10-year-old Syrian girl puppet, as she raises awareness about the struggles of displaced people. Lastly, we discussed the controversy surrounding Canadian singer Buffy Sainte-Marie and the impact it has had on the Indigenous community. Now, let's dive into the analysis. The declining fertility rate in the UK is a serious concern for the country's future. To avoid economic consequences such as a decrease in the working age population and a crisis in elderly care, policy makers must address the barriers that prevent women from starting families. It's crucial to value motherhood and provide support to women who want to have children. Moving on to the situation in Egypt, foreign nationals who have fled Gaza are facing a time-sensitive issue. They have only 72 hours to leave the country before risking fines. This poses a significant challenge for those like Yosra, a pregnant British citizen, and her husband Ibrahim, who is not a British citizen. The expedited visa application process is uncertain, causing stress and uncertainty for those involved. It's essential for authorities to find a solution that prioritizes the well-being and safety of these individuals. Shifting our attention to Australia's Prime Minister's visit to China, there are hopes for improved relations between the two countries. The scrapping of Chinese tariffs on Australian wines would be a significant step forward. However, concerns remain about advocating for human rights in China and whether sensitive issues will be addressed during the visit. It will be interesting to see how this visit unfolds and if it leads to positive changes between the two nations. Now, let's talk about little Amal, the 10-year-old Syrian girl puppet who is raising awareness about the struggles of displaced people. Her journey through the US-Mexico border region aims to evoke empathy and compassion for those fleeing war, violence, poverty, and persecution. By engaging with local communities, she highlights the challenges faced by border communities as they cope with the arrival of migrants. Little Amal's journey serves as a symbol of hope and resilience for those who have faced adversity. Lastly, we discussed the controversy surrounding Buffy Sainte-Marie, the Canadian singer and activist. The allegations about her heritage have caused anger and confusion within the Indigenous community. It is important for the media to approach stories about pretendians, those falsely claiming Indigenous heritage, responsibly, considering the impact on Indigenous public life. The focus should be on determining if fraud has occurred and consulting with the affected communities. In conclusion, today's news covers a range of important topics, from addressing declining fertility rates to the hopes for improved international relations. Little Amal's journey reminds us of the struggles faced by displaced people, while the controversy surrounding Buffy Sainte-Marie raises questions about responsible reporting. As always, I encourage you, the viewers, to share your thoughts and ideas on these topics. What are your thoughts? Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.